Welcome to Innovate to Elevate. I'm Matias Lucero, and I'm your host for today's episode, brought to you by Posta Studio, a branding and web design agency located in St. Petersburg, Florida. So, for today's episode, we're going to talk about branding and importance of creating a strong brand identity. We have a couple of guests today from our agency. We have Lenchu, also known as Valentina, Lujan, and we also have Juana. So, for the first segment, we're going to talk about the origin of the idea. So, I would like to ask you, Lenju, in your creative process, where do ideas come from and how you develop that process to become a brand?
Hi, Mati. Hey there, I'm Lenchi. According to this first step, that is the origin of ideas, first of all, I think we have to observe the environment, see what is surrounding us. Also, we have to identify the needs of the brand or the need of the people surrounding you. Also, we can combine, for example, two ideas that already exist to create a new one. For example, Uber combine the GPS idea with the taxi services, and online it creates Innovate, for example.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And I think everybody has their own creative process. Like I don't think there's a rule to do it. So that's a great point from your view. What about you, Luhi? What's your creative process like?
Yeah, I think talking about this, I think it's super important to create an environment that boosts creativity. Um, it involves things like, I don't know, brainstorming sessions, exploring different fields, and encouraging the team to be more curious and try new things. I think that's very important. And I think making sure everyone feels safe to share their ideas without worrying about being judged.
Yeah, that makes sense. And especially because, I feel like in the process to come up with an idea, you're always, creating at the beginning garbage, sort of speak. Because you start with a blank canvas. So, you definitely need to try a couple of ideas, and you definitely gotta be comfortable, not only with your team, but I believe especially with your client. Yeah, I think that's super important, especially listening to our clients and listen, well, what they want, what they want to do, and putting those ideas together and bring them. But yeah, how's your creative process, Juan?
Well, my creating process is it's more getting feedback from users early can bring up new ideas and make your current ones better. Sometimes the best ideas came from understanding other people, and talking to different people can give out new highlights. For example, asking for on social media can show you trends and need you didn't expect.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that actually brings us to our second segment, which is the development of the concept. Because you first start with these ideas, and I guess the second part is once you put them together, it's to develop the concept of the brand. So I'm assuming it's where you want to bring the brand, but it's still on a concept stage. The question for you guys, I think, would be how we can shape this original idea that we came out with and turn it into a value and a brand or something that has purpose, so it can turn into an actual brand.
Yeah, I think first of all we have to clarify all the things that came to our mind and set like a roadmap. First of all, we have to think about the brand mission and vision. For example, what we or the values, the core values that why they are different. What are the things we wanted to show to the world? For example, Patagonia, the clothes brand, they have the mission and the vision according to environmental sustainability. Their clothes, their shops, they are all in the same vision and vision.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that's especially interesting because it's not the same when you're working with, a brand that it has already developed and you're doing, creating a website or doing an ad campaign or this sort of things. But I think it's also interested, especially when you're starting with creating a brand from somebody who has like nothing. What are the things that you need to consider? Because I feel like Patagonia, for example, they have their target, they know who they are. But I would like to know from your point of view, Luki, what's the importance of considering this audience and their needs?
Yeah, I think it's very important to think about your audience and what they need. I think a good brand concept should connect with them, and after something valuable and clear, doing market search and making details for customer profiles, and I think that can help you to understand what your audience wants and
Yeah.
how your concept can meet their needs and desires.
Yeah, especially because um, we might have an idea of who that target audience could be, but like sometimes even the client or the agency could be wrong about it. Do you have anything to add there about how to find that correct audience?
Well, I think you have to create testing and prototypes over and over. It's really important at this stage because you need the feedback from the people. And I don't know if you have a product and I made this microphone and for me it's incredible and I have like a bunch of people that say the same, but if I want to be more popular or whatever, you have to need that feedback because I don't know why it's not popular or why it's not the best for all the world, and
Mhm.
you need that feedback. So it's really important to know your market and your followers. I don't know. So yeah, you have to over and over again know the people that you
Yeah, I guess to put it in a nutshell, it's just doing research and putting
Yes.
it together and test it out. Which brings us to our next segment, that it's the brand building. Because like we said, we generate with first this idea, that are just plenty of drafts. Then we do some research. We try to understand the client, the audience, and then once we understand that, that's the area when the fun part, I feel like starts happening. That it's when the brand it's built, it's conceived. So my question for you guys would be, how do we make, or what are the values or the things that we can make for a brand to stand out? Because, we've done this research and they might have a lot of competitors. So I guess when we're starting to build this brand, what are the things that we can do to make this brand unique, and to make it stand out, essentially?
Yeah, and it's really important, for example, to mix the visual identity with the concept. That's the most important part. And I think consistency is the key. For example, from the typography to the color of the brand, or the typographic family, or the universe of the brand has to go to the same way, in the same road, because that allows us to, for example, see the brand from outside. For example, I don't know, talking about Coca-Cola, they have the red color. It's a great brand, the example, but if you have the red color, you know that they are Coca-Cola. It's like you don't have the whole world of Coca-Cola to see that they are there, for example, no?
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, and also because I feel like big brands like Coca-Cola have created some sort of like a story behind it, which I think it's super important while we're going through the creative process to give a unique brand identity to the client. You know, we've had these examples a million times that a color palette and a typography is not going to define the brand, but it's more about how you use it.
how you tell the story, no? It's like they are not isolated things.
Yes.
So they're made like a small world, no?
Mhm.
It's true.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. But yeah, Luki, what can you tell us about how to create like a unique story for a brand?
I think to tell a story is that you want to connect with your audience. Brands that make an emotional with their audience build loyalty and engagement. I think a strong brand story can turn a product into an experience. And for example, Tom's shoes build their brand story around social impact, and I think it's very important to do that. If you don't have
Yeah.
that, it's going to be very blank, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And as Lynch was also mentioning, you know, I guess when you create that unique story for your clients, it's time to start showing it, right? But what are things, or what would you guys recommend for people that listening to this podcast? Like, okay, they went through the first part, they came with a name, they came with an idea. You know, they contacted an agency, say, hey, help me out to, you know, make this brand a little bit stronger. Once that it's completed, what do you think, Juana? It's the key for success for that brand.
Being consistent everywhere is super important. Every time someone interacts with your brand, you should reinforce your message and values, creating a smooth and memorable experience. This means customers, service, social media, and more, and even packaging. For example, Amazon focuses a lot on customer service, or I
So the
don't know.
keyword's consistency, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And showing it to the world. Because I feel like a lot of companies or small business owners, they come up with their brand and then they put it there in a closet and they don't really use it. So yeah, that's a great point about being consistent. I think everybody should be using the same brand identity.
In these times that we are like all the time while we are communicating, we can't be separated. For example, as a brand, we can't like put our brand, for example, on Instagram and then let it happen, because it won't happen. So we
Yeah.
have to like build a relation with our customers or future customers or our audience, you know. Like,
I think it's not only be pretty brand. You know, you have to connect with your customer and make that customer feel safe with you. Or I think you have to
Why
be
you
more
want to
human.
Yes.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
we
guess.
like,
Yeah, I guess that then let people feel identify with the company, and of course that's not going to happen with everybody. Because, for example, if your business is, I don't know, let's say you change car windshields, or you wash cars, like people are not gonna, you know, you're not trying people to feel identify with that brand. Now, when you're talking with a clothing brand, like let's say Patagonia, as you brought earlier, Lanju, I think there's a different sentiment over there. So I think it's key as part of the process as well. Understand the clients that they're having, and if there's a why they need or should feel till some point identify with the brand. But at the end of the day, a strong brand identity, it's just so people can recognize your business. And when they see it, it's memorable. You just see it quickly. And it's like, oh yeah, I know these guys. I trust them till some degree. So I feel like sharing, being consistent, as you guys were mentioning, it's part of the key to success. As long as you work previously on the development of the brand properly, like from generating your ideas to understanding your customers, understanding yourself. And once you have that and you have a brand, then it's time to do marketing and to start showing it to the world. So why don't we look at some examples from big brands? Because I feel like every customer wants to, everybody starts small, but at the end of the day, you want to be a big brand like Coca-Cola, Patagonia, Nike, and any other brand. So do you guys have any example or things that you think that brands do like really well?
Yeah, I think Apple is a great brand to analyze. Because when you, for example, buy an iPhone or a computer, you're not buying only a phone, you're buying, for example, elegance, you're buying simplicity, you're buying user-friendly experience. So it's not only the thing, it's like the things that are beneath it, I don't know, behind it,
Yeah.
McDonald's
And
too.
another example, yeah. And I think Nike focuses on empowering through sport. I think their slogan, just do it. It's all about overcoming challenges and going
With the
excellent. And it always features like stories of athletes who can achieve great things despite, I don't know, the odds, and making
yeah.
and spot that is very emotional. I think it's very important too. It's very to connect and to the audience, for the audience to relate to what are you talking about.
Yeah. Well, if you think about all of them, they all kind of like have a story. Like, for example, Coca-Cola is bringing families together. The one that you mentioned, Lucy, Nike, it's all about sports. So it's about overcoming obstacles. This guy, it's just as human as you are. If that person can do it, you can do it. The same with
It's really important what you said, Matthew. I think like rely not only, for example, the quality of the products, also because like they talk to you or they talk to you like a human being, not only a brand. Like it puts you in the same level.
It's very personal.
That's nice.
Earlier today, offline, we were also chatting a really interesting point that you brought, Juani, about the storytelling about two different brands, especially in the beauty world. Would you like to share with us a little bit more about what we were chatting earlier?
Yes. We chat about Rare Beauty and Kylie Jenner, Kylie Skin, Kylie Beauty. You have two brands and two different stories. You have Rare Beauty that they sell that beauty. It's the rare beauty, and then you have Kylie Jenner that she sell Kylie, her image.
Yeah, it's more superficial. Yeah. But none of these concepts are wrong. They're just two different concepts, right?
They're different. Right now, the people want the human things. They're more real. Like, I don't know, you have Emma Chamberlain and James Charles. Emma Chamberlain, it's so real that you saw her in her bed.
Yeah, supernatural.
With her hair like this and drinking coffee and talking about, I don't know, her menstrual.
Yeah, just random things. Yeah.
Yes, it's so real that it's like you're talking with your friend. And then you have James Charlie is talking about how was his weekend in Coachella, and we're like, I don't want to talk with you. don't want to talk about
Yeah.
this. I want to talk
Yeah.
about my acne things, or
Right.
so you have
So
two projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's two different concepts. One that it's more human, that it's trying to, touch the sentiment or being with people on a day-to-day basis. Like, hey, I'm not perfect, and it is okay. And it's still a strong brand because Image Chamberlain has a super strong brand. And then you have other people that talk about other things, or they just have a different concept on things, and their audience is different, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think the world is changing and it's moving from the old world to, for example, a human one. And like yesterday, it happens to me. I was like scrolling on Instagram, and I saw a top model that I forgot her name. That, for example, she talks about a date that has last night, and she talked about how was the date. So natural, like I don't know, cleaning her face, talking about the date. No, it happened like
Wait, was that a girl that had her first kiss in like 2 years or something like that?
could be, yeah. Like, she's a top model, You
Yeah,
feel
okay.
that
I think we're
way.
talking about the same person. Maybe not.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, no, it's
interesting.
interesting.
And
It's
I
in,
start following her,
yeah.
because I feel like I
Yeah.
relate. I don't know.
I think
Yeah, and you have
this-
always people that are more superficial and more human.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
You
Yeah,
have
and for brands also.
you have right now the people want more real things. I don't know. 4 years ago, people want like I don't want to talk about what happened in the world. I want to talk about how it's your boots or what you brought from Sephora or whatever like that. I don't want to talk about what happened in Spain. Or right now, the people want to know what happened in the world and how can we fix that. And they're more
Yeah.
in tears.
Yeah,
and I
like,
think we are saturated with all of that we want
Super
more. No, we want to be more calm and more realistic about things. And we don't want to know.
It's kind of like the post-COVID era, I feel like, right?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because like the COVID brought people together, or at some point people could not be together. So I feel like that, yeah, in some brands, it's a good point that they started like changing their storytelling or changing their target or changing how they communicate with their audience, which is super interesting.
After
And
COVID, I think the brands changed a lot. It's before and after COVID,
yeah,
like the way we communicate or the way we sell. For
Mhm.
example, I don't know, we live a very difficult era in the COVID 2020 or 2019, and now we have to sell human things,
Yeah.
Mhm.
real things.
I think we changed this last 2 years. It was like, pa, and they changed everything.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the
yeah.
economy. It's
Yes, the
living a
economy is-
simple life. I think it's
Yes,
what is happening.
right now in the high fashion, you have I don't know. 2 years ago, Balenciaga was the top of brands. It was so popular, and right now you don't even see Valencia. Right now, you saw a lot of Jacquemus, Miu Miu. They're so simple
Yeah.
and so like you only wear a T-shirt with a thing that said Jacquemus or a hoodie or only a dress is white and simple. You don't need everything in that. So the economy is so important in brands right now, and
Yeah.
that they reflect.
Yeah, and you can see brands changing as long because we've seen a lot of rebrands lately with some brands, and it's like, okay, they have this logo and this brand identity forever. Why are they changing it? So
Yeah.
It's good for our audience if you're creating a strong brand, or you're in the process of it, about thinking, who's your audience, how you want to get them to know you, and see how you can connect with them, and hopefully that it's going to help you create a strong brand identity.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get to a conclusion of this episode, we're just going to talk quickly about the three main pillars that you got to do for your brand when you're creating a brand. And the first one is generate the idea and do research in your audience, as we were saying, just so you know who's your target and how you want to communicate and what's your style. And based on that, you'll be able to create a good design, a good brand that can identify with those values. And after you're done with that, it's all about sharing, doing marketing. So share, share, share. And that way people can know you, they can start feeling identified. Yeah, that way you just generate a strong brand identity. So thank you everybody for joining us today. It was a really fun episode, and we'll see you hopefully next month with a new episode here at Innovate to Elevate. And don't forget to follow us on all our social medias. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Mati. Thank you all.
Don't forget
See you
to
in the
share
next
with your
episode.
friends.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.